y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And welcome to a video where basically you're gonna sit here and listen to me whine and complain about all the progress that I haven't made on these products despite using the majority of them just about every week, if not every day. And that is going to be all the things that I pulled out to put into my project pan slash project use up. This series is basically not necessarily me focusing on like panning specific things or using things up, but more pulling them out to use them a lot more, to get my use out of them and things that I feel like I could possibly potentially pan, and should that happen, I will be exceptionally pleased with myself. This is just a way for me to sort of use up what I have, things that may be edging towards a little bit old. I want to get my money's worth out of them before I, send them off to the great makeup gods of the other realms. Most of y'all know, typically, I hadn't really been a use up pan type of person. I was like, mustn't use too much lest we run out of it. When in reality, these things be going bad, they're expiring, they're whatever. I got enough makeup to last me until past when I die. I'll be buried with this shiz. So, I wanted to set some things aside and focus on using them up. And quite a lot of you have expressed interest in this sort of thing. It's really good for me, especially with this whole like low buy, being able to appreciate and love what I really have. I'm looking to start doing the monthly shop my stashes again. So without further ado, let's just get into these products, some of which we have done some nice work on, others of which looks like the same day they did when I bought them, which is exceptionally frustrating. You're sitting here using this thing. There's some things that I've used every single time I do my makeup, and you'd have no idea. I will leave link down below my intro into this, as well, if I can remember, all my other project pan use up videos. But the one that I did right before this was sort of the intro into my project pan, and this is the actual continuation. So enough talk, enough whatever, have at you, let's get into this. I suppose we should start off with a positive. I did have two of these Physicians Formulas, the Healthy Foundation, in my last video. And I had two of them because in order to get my perfect, or at least my closest to my skin tone shade, I have to mix together the two lightest shades. And I have used up one of this one, which is the FN3. And we're working on using up the LC1. So I have already used up one of these. I wouldn't say it was, well, I finished it in 2020, but I pulled the stopper off of that shit, scraped out every single blinking tiny little bit of foundation, used it all up, went back to Virginia for a little bit, and brought back a new one because I do have numerous of these on backup because they're my absolute favorite end-all be-all foundation. So I feel like foundations, most things like foundations and primers and stuff like that, I go through relatively consistently. So obviously I really look forward. I have absolutely complete faith in myself to be able to use these up. Then the next foundation I want to use up, just because I really enjoy the foundation and they are leaning towards kind of old. Like, I know foundations typically last for, yeah, this says 12 months. I've had both of these definitely more than 12 months, but this is the Too Faced Born This Way Undetectable Medium to Full Coverage Foundation. Been on my channel, y'all know that this is like the mattest that I will ever go. This is the highest level of full high coverage matte coverage foundation that I will apply to my dry face. I really enjoy this foundation. I've gone through like a hate and love relationship with it where I'll go through periods of like, it's the best thing ever, and then I'll put it on my face and I'll absolutely hate it. So hopefully we can continue on the the enjoying and loving of it. I do have to mix these two because clearly this one's too pale and this one's too dark. I remember being in the store with JT when I was buying, oh, which one did I buy? We were just commenting on how silly and funny some of the like names were for the shades of these foundations where you're like, okay, all right. Oh, that's what I was talking about, what my darker shade was. I was going to buy my darker shade and I was like, I think my darker shade is called something like Snow. And JT was like, really? That's your darker shade. It was funny, but I also have faith in myself using this foundation up as well. I don't use it the Physicians Formula. I use 9 out of 10 times. So this one I need to like pull to the front and really use it. And I really, really want to use these up before the end of the year. If I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. If there isn't anything that tells you how much product you actually get, it's when you're trying to use something up, because it never, ever runs out. And last but not least, on the foundation front, this is a new thing. I was kind of going through my makeup in Virginia and being like, what do I want to use up? And these are the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Hydration Foundation Stick. Now, you all may remember a year ago, I remember these came out and Lauren Conrad, someone was like doing the, oh look, and there was ads everywhere, and I finally bit the bullet and said, fine, I'll buy it. And I absolutely loved it for an extended period of time. And then I went back to use it and I did not like how it looked on my face. And this is a foundation that I started using at the beginning of like my healthy complexion skincare journey. So I'd like to think that my skincare game is actually better now, so these should look better. So I just pulled these out because I really want to give them another go, because I really did like them. I really did. And on one of them, I think it was, is it this one? Yeah, I've used a significant amount of this one up. Like I was using this shiz every day. I was using it when I was going out. It's very minimal. Really enjoyed these. Want to use them up. That would be very satisfactory to me, because this would be the first stick foundation for me to ever have used up. So definitely will keep you all posted on how I am with these, because I loved them for such an extended period of time. I was like, this is the most bomb diggity shiznit thing that ever existed. Okay, now let's get into some of the frustrating products. Y'all, I put these two highlighters in here. These are the Pixie and Aspen Ovard collaboration highlighters. These came out at least 4 years ago, probably pushing 5. I have had them, I have held on to them, I have raved about them, I have praised them, and I figured that since these were reaching such a ripe old age, they would be an excellent addition to a project use up, because I want to use it as much as I can before I have to get rid of it, and because I felt like it was something conceivably I could work on using up. I love these highlighters. They're amazing. And I've been using them consistently by themselves, mixed with other things, mixed with a palette, mixed with another highlighter, mixed with cream, mixed with powder. I've used these in every which way, and you wouldn't know it. You would not know it. There is like, it's just like rough there. And there's like the teeniest, tiniest, slightest little dip. Just a titchy bit of a dip. And then this one, I believe, has like just a little more wear and use on it. Not that you can see, because I don't have any kind of fancy camera. Once again, just the slightest, smallest, titchiest hint of use. And I shiz you not when I tell you I have been using these consistently. Like, and we're not even talking like, oh, a dusting of how. I'm like, all right, let's glow to the gods. Let's see how much excess we get. Nothing. You would not know that I had these and used these consistently for that many years. Now, I do believe they have these on their website. They're just named something different now. So if I can find that, I will definitely leave it linked down below for y'all, because obviously you can't get these ones anymore, but I'm trying, and I'm just like, come on. Like, I've been actively using these ever since that first video that I did talking about the intro to the project pan, and I have been using them and pulling them out and using them and using them. And I'm like, Nothing is happening. These have definitely been a source of frustration for me. After I film this, I'm gonna take pictures of these things that I can then insert into my following videos and just kind of keep track of the progress that I am making or not making. Next up in highlighter is a palette. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sugar Glow Kit. Very explanatory, self-explanatory. My main reasoning for this was this shade here. This is Marshmallow, which is one of my absolute favorite highlighters from the glow kits. You can see a fair bit of use in there. I feel like if I keep concentrating my brush right in that area there, I should be able to get a nice little dip, and maybe we'll hit some nice sensual pan on this one. The other shades I'm going to be using as well, but it was kind of like this one where I felt like if anything was going to happen significantly, it would be this one, because it is one of my favorite just highlighter shades just in general. I love the glow kit, but I love the marshmallow shade. If you pasty and you want a nice champagne-y, goldy but not too gold sort of color, hit this shiz up. I believe the sweets one, the sugar one, is the one that is permanent. The sweets, where the marshmallow shade originally was from, was limited edition. This one has got the marshmallow and like the butterscotch and the gumdrop shade, and then it's got Starburst from one of the first glow kits. So we'll be using all of it. I have been using all of it, but definitely concentrating on this shade here. On to the next face palettes. We have got the Natasha Denona Bloom Blush and Glow palette. Y'all know I love this shiz. Y'all know this shiz is some of my end-all be-all blush. I'm going to be concentrating, probably what's going to show the most significant amount of use is going to be this glow cream base here, because the cream blush, you need just a little, just a tippy tap. That is all. Whereas this one, you can do more with layering and sort of get it going and everything like that. It's a beautiful palette. Also going to be trying to use these two powder products a little bit more, because typically I go in for the two cream things here. So obviously, like I said, obviously with everything, I'll keep you updated. But like I said, going to be taking pictures and everything like that. So I look forward to getting a lot of good, that actually would have gone well with my look today. But super excited to get a lot of use out of this, as well as the Love Glow one, which does have a significant amount less use because I've had it for less time. But really gonna be going in on this. These two palettes complement each other really well, and they're just so nicely formulated. They really make your skin look kind of glass-like and ethereal and serene, and you're all kinds of healthy and glowy and dewy. I just absolutely love these. So glad y'all talked me into buying this one, because that was definitely opening the floodgates to buying this one. I got the tan one, the bronze one, but these two I love, and I'm looking forward to incorporating in a lot of my looks. All right, eyeshadow. I wanted to keep it a little bit simple here, so obviously y'all probably know what this one is gonna be. Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. This just made sense to me. I've used it a fair amount ever since starting this whole project pan. I've got a couple shades. I would have to say that Buon Fresco, Red Ochre, Venetian Red, and Love Letter are probably my most dug into shades in this palette. I've got really good dips going in Vermeer and Primavera, which are the two shimmers. I've also got pretty good in Warm Taupe, Real Gar, Cypress Umber. There is not a shade in here that has not seen significant amounts of use. And I feel like if I play my cards right with this one, I will be able to hit some pan, especially on some of these reds, just focusing on pulling this palette out more. It's also a bit older, so before it starts going completely off the wall, I just really want to focus on using this. I have been using it again. It's a tried, it's a true, it's a classic, one of my favorite palettes. It has never ever let me down. Then Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam. Once again, I have got significant dips in a couple different of these colors. mulberry, orange soda, burnt orange, huge dip in sienna. The shimmers are all pretty well touched. Again, this is another palette where there isn't a shade in here that I haven't absolutely tucked into. Hopefully you'll be able to see better in the pictures when I do an update, being able to see the progress that I have made compared to the progress that I'm going to make. These are just palettes that I know that I reach for. I know that they're not going to do me wrong, that I'm going to be confident in what I'm doing. They're just sort of basic, tried and true. I'm gonna reach for it, I'm gonna use it, it's gonna turn out well. And should I use it up in the interim, all the more power to me. Then if we're gonna talk about, you know, easy to pull out, we got some ColourPop here. We'll discuss the main contenders. Obviously, just my luck right here. I have got a beautiful dip in Kiss My Ass right here. Chances are, I love Mary Jane. I love all of you. Act Natural. I do need to work a little bit more on Mobamba and Charmed. I mean, that is a beautiful, beautiful greeny brown. Big Banks, I've used a fair amount. So this is definitely one of those palettes, again, that I use a majority, if not all of these shades. Main Squeeze going on here. Big old dip in red bottoms. I've used Like It's Hot a lot. I've used Froze. I love Maraschino, Baywatch, and Juicy Fruit. Again, this is just sort of a, I love everything in here. I use everything in here. So it's kind of a no-brainer sort of eyeshadow palette that I'm gonna pan, use up, all that jazz. Then I wasn't entirely sure of all the ones that I included in that first video. So I had pulled out Strawberry Shake, which is one that I like to use with Main Squeeze, because a lot of these, I love using them on their own, but they also work really well together in their familiar color category stories. This one works well with Main Squeeze. It also works well with the Ooh La La palette here. I love Sandbar, Poodle, Trove, Caddy, Moonstruck, Big Sugar, just a lot of really good shades. And then we've got the It's My Pleasure, which is this purple one right here, which isn't probably going to be as fantastically panned because I mainly go in here for the mattes and some of the shimmers. I don't really use this shimmer. I don't use these two a lot. I like this one and this one. And then Lilac You a lot, which I typically use in conjunction with the It's My Pleasure. This one has a lot more, like I have a huge, huge dip in Zoned Out and Iffy here, partly because this Iffy shade is, oh, it's got a lot of fallout, so be careful with that. But I love all four of the shimmers here. I use each and every single one of them. So I do look forward to getting a significant amount of use out of all of these palettes. It's sometimes hard because I tend to kind of, I'll go in and just see all my palettes and be like, oh, I want to use this today, because as much as I love having a lot of makeup, one of the cons is definitely like eyeshadow makeup distraction. Like you're going along with the best of intentions, and then you're like, oh, I haven't used that palette in like 3 months. I should pull that out, rather than focusing on, you know, palettes that I'm trying to use up. You know, it's just kind of a complicated relationship I have with my stuff. And then you have the fact that there's also the stuff that I keep continuously reaching for. It's like, oh, I'm doing an eye look, a red eye look, I'm gonna use that. So I am hoping that this will help kind of push me out of my rut, push me out of my kind of like routines, as it were. I thought it was a smart idea to include 2 full-size setting powders into my project pan when I literally use probably the tiniest amount of powder on my face. Like your girl uses just tap on the nose and just a little, just the slightest, subtlest kiss of powder to set my concealer, and that is it. So the one that I've been using mainly is the Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder, and I've been using this probably just about every time I do my makeup, and there's probably enough in here to do a full body powder down about 100 times over. So I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking. I knew I wanted to, like, you know, have one at least, and then maybe I was thinking, oh, what if I get bored? What if I want to try a different one? So I did include another of my favorites. This is the Milk Matte Loose something Blur Plus Set Matte Loose Setting Powder. I have mine in the shade Translucent. Absolutely love this shiz. Not a big fan of the that thing there, but these two and the Too Faced Ethereal Born This Way setting powder are my three favorites. I figured we'd keep it simple, keep it safe, and just do two. I don't think I will ever need to purchase setting powder, at least for the near future, because if y'all remember, I got a sample of the Cover FX one, and it was literally a sample about yay big, and it took me 3 months of near daily consistent using to use up that little tiny bit of powder. I got plenty. I got more than I need. I got so much. So I don't know if I'll even be able to tell you progress with these, because you're just like, yep, use it every day, and there's still a crap ton of product in there. If there's ever a product, a high-end product that you're going to get your money's worth out of, it is gonna be a loose setting powder. Then another near daily use, depending on what my hair looks like, are my KVD. They're not called this anymore. These are the 24-hour Super Brow pomades. I've made a significant nastiness of the green one right here. Also a significant amount of use in the black one. That's probably the most used up right now. Then I've got the brown here, which is, I use it for a fair amount. Like I would even probably use it for brows for this kind of wig. I use it for like a lot of lighter, more natural looking ones. This is what I use for my own natural hair. These I use pretty consistently. I have most of the colors, but some of them, like for example, in order to get this, I used a liquid lipstick from KVD. But if I don't have a pomade color that matches with the wig or the whatever it is I'm going for, I do use a liquid lipstick instead. I am going to be doing a brow tutorial where I show you how I use a pomade. I'm going to show you how I use a liquid lipstick, and I'm going to show you how I do my ombre brows. So if that's not up by this, please stay tuned, stick around, it's coming. But these are just things I would have to, I would probably repurchase this. Yeah, I would repurchase these three. Out of all the shades that I've gotten so much significant use out of these. These are something that I would repurchase. Not necessarily the purple, the blue, I mean, I didn't need it. The red was kind of the pink, the red and like the pink and the purple were, I feel like, pretty underwhelming. I didn't get the yellow, I didn't get the white, but these three are definitely ones that I would repurchase. These colors specifically, they're a really good formula. If you like drag queen, Insta, super there brows, these are a phenomenal formula. Love them. Next is something you would think would be easy to use up. This is the Farsali Rose Gold Skin Mist. I remember I bought this because at the time there were so many people hauling this. I think it was, I don't know if it was like a Sephora VIB sale or something. There was some kind of Sephora sale and I was watching everybody's hauls and everyone bought this. And I was like, I need it. This is, again, one of those kind of products where you think this is going to be easy. This is going to be great. I'm going to use this up. It's going to end up so quick. But there's just, you sit there and you use it and then there's still a bunch of liquid. And you're like, please just use it. I want to use something else. I'm tired of this. And even with, like, y'all know that one of my end-all be-all setting sprays is the Morphe X Jeffree Star Starberry Setting Mist, because that is perfect for my dry skin tone. It leaves me all dewy, healthy, glowy. I had one of those in here, and I've already used that one up, so I have another one in the video, in my lineup of products to use up, because y'all also know that I've gotten to the point where I'm like, don't open anything else until you've used something up, especially when it comes to like foundations and liquids and stuff that are more prone to actually going off. I've been trying to be so good with like, use it up. Like I've got that Milk Makeup, the Hydro Mist spray thing, the Hydro Grip spray, right? And I'm like, I want to try it. I want to try it. It's sitting there in my overflow drawer, but I'm like, I want to use something up before I open that up. Because in doing that, it's almost helping me. Like, it's one thing that's helped me with my low buy, because like not immediately opening things up and using it and kind of having it there, then getting to use it after I've used something up kind of gives me that same kind of rush of like buying something new, but I'm not buying anything new. We're trying to take a lot of fiscal responsibility in 2021. But that's all the products I have for this particular roundup of use up and project panning. I apologize if I forgot anything. I did forget something. I had the Flower Beauty 3-pan highlighter palette, which was still in Virginia. I'm not sure why, I didn't recall, but that's in here on this as well. I'm going back to Virginia for just a titchy bit in March. I'll bring that back with me. I would love to hear what y'all have to say about the products I've decided to include in my project use up. I would love to hear how any of y'all's are doing. I know this is kind of something that a lot of us have been like leaning towards and doing and like appreciating what we have rather than purchasing every single other thing that comes out. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to showing you guys all the progress that I make with this. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!